How is it going now, guys? TalkNorwichCity here, back for another Breakfast with TNC. I hope you guys are doing fantastically well. Before I get into anything, I think it's very important to thank the Acle Bridge for sponsoring the Breakfast with TNC series, as well as doing these YouTube videos. I'm also doing some Facebook Live Breakfast with TNC, so if you haven't already seen them, drop my Facebook page a like. Head over there and you might be able to see something. And also, if you head into the Acle Bridge, a lovely little pub in Acle, right on the river, it's beautiful. Head in there and say that you watch these Breakfast with TNC videos. They'll give you 2 meals for a tenner off the Breakfast with TNC menu. If you don't know what it is, go back a couple of videos and I'll read it all out. In terms of today's breakfast, I've got pear. Now, you might see there's a chunk missing out of my pear. Now, you might be thinking, Jack, you haven't been nibbling off camera, have you? That is strictly against Breakfast with TNC rules. As well as that, a chunk of serene bread is gone. Now, how has that happened, I wonder? Well, I'll tell you. I filmed a whole Breakfast with TNC about 10 minutes ago, and my microphone wasn't on. So it was basically me like this. You couldn't hear anything. It was very annoying. As well as that, I've given away this as well. In here, I've got my orange juice. It was pretty much full. And I was like, oh, look, it fits in there. But I forgot to take it out, so you already seen it. But that's pretty cool, isn't it? How you can fit a glass in a glass. Wow, that's incredible. So, yeah, we've got a pear. It was lovely. It's lovely and juicy. And then we've got the serene bread. If you don't know what serene bread is, it's basically like kind of a sticky fruitcake kind of thing. But you smear it in butter. And it's actually quite good for you. Not the butter, obviously, but that is a fairly healthy breakfast, which is lovely. But it does get stuck around your teeth a bit. Let's wash that down. Lovely. So let's get into today's news then. Of course, let's start with the big news that Martin Olsson has gone to Swansea in an undisclosed fee, but we think it's around the £4.5 million mark, between £4 and £5 million, that's for sure. And here on the ITV news website, Alex Neil is saying that it was a good deal. He said, Martin's been here for a number of years. I think we were in a situation with Martin where obviously we managed to get a new contract signed because inevitably in the summer we'd have lost him for nothing. Now, fair play to Norwich City here. They've managed to get £4 to £5 million. I know it seems quite a small amount for a Swedish international player, still in his prime, played a lot of Premier League games as a decent left back, and Swansea kind of picked him up on the cheap, I feel. But at the same time, I can see where Alex Neil is coming from here, and the fact that we picked up £5 million, which for a championship club like us is a fairly decent amount of money. We've knocked a considerable amount off the wage bill. If we can then shift Robbie Brady as well, which I'm going to get onto in a minute, that frees up a fair bit of cash, and you're able to bring in, you've then got maybe £17 million, 7 million of which might be put into paying off debts and whatever crap we have to do with that, and then 10 million could go out and get a really decent striker and a decent championship defender. I'd much rather that than a player that evidently doesn't want to be at the club, but for the most did give his all. And I think the hype around Martin Olsson is justified because he was a fantastic left back. But let's not forget, is this really a man that is fighting, busting a lung for Norwich City? I don't think so. Would Harry Toffolo do that? I think he would. I think he would bust a lung for Norwich City. And we've got too many players at this football club that undoubtedly do have quality. You look at Robbie Brady. He is a decent quality player. But does he want to be at this football club? No. Did Martin Olsson want to be at this football club? No. He wanted to be playing Premier League football. Now, if he would have worked hard enough along with his teammates, we could have got back into the Premier League and we still have a very minute chance. But we're not going to, and he wasn't in it for the long run. It's a strange career move for Martin Olsson to go to Swansea, who I think might go down this season as well. So he might be playing championship football again next season. But £4 to £5 million for Martin Olsson isn't the end of the world. I think it's a fairly decent deal. But of course, we need to reinvest that and we need to do it quickly. Now, on that sort of on that kind of story, I'm going to move over to Robbie Brady. This is coming off the RTE, an Irish sport website, and is saying Robbie Brady's suit was nowhere near on transfer fee, according to Alex Neil. Now, Alex Neil done a press conference yesterday. He was asked, Alex, is Robbie Brady going to be in the squad for the Southampton game? And Alex Neil went, why wouldn't he be? Why wouldn't he be? That was my Scottish accent. He's a Norwich City player. A Norwich City player. That was me being Alex Neil. Shocking. Yeah, basically, he's going to be in the squad for the Southampton game. He's still a Norwich City player, and according to Alex Neil, he doesn't care if he gets in. Well, he does obviously care, but it hasn't crossed his mind if he gets injured or cup ties. At the moment, he's a Norwich City player. No club is coming with an offer good enough, which we're wanting kind of 12 to 13 million pounds. Now, Burnley have been interested, so have Sunderland, so have Palace, so have Leicester. But none of them have offered that money that we want. I think we're holding out for a decent price because Hull are going to be taking 25% of the sell-on. So, look, we need a decent amount of cash. 12 million sounds fair. But at the same time, we are now 18 days into the January transfer window, and we need to reinvest that cash. Now, we don't want a recurring incident, much like the summer transfer window, where we held out for too long on certain players, and then when we did finally kind of get in a position to get Dwight Gale, we screwed it up because we still had players that we hadn't sold because we were holding out for good enough prices. There's a very delicate balance between getting the price you want and doing it quick enough to enable reinvestment into this club. At the end of the day, it's all well and good selling players and selling deadwood players, but you then need to go and get hungry young players that are going to take time and stuff. Now, Alex Neil did say he's got a lot of irons on the fire, as he came up with. He comes up with some weird analogies of how he's basically in for players. He called it irons on the fire. So Alex Neil is in for players, but I think we need to sell first. Now, we've got one of them out of the door. Let's get Brady out of the door, and then let's start buying players. Now, a player that has been linked is an Australian left-back from Bradford. Yes, that's a sentence you never thought you'd hear, is it? Called James Meredith. His illustrious career goes from Derby to Cambridge to Chesterfield to Sligo Rovers to Shrewsbury to AFC Telford on loan and to York before moving to Bradford in 2012. So this is a man with an illustrious football career. Look, he's 28 years old. He's out of contract at the end of the season. He has massive calves. He is better than no left back at all, I guess. But I've never heard of the bloke. Any Bradford fans out there? Is James Meredith any good, and would he cut it in the Championship? At the end of the day, though, we've got a left back who is currently playing League One football, and he is our player in Harry Toffolo. Why we loaned him back out and are now going in for an older League One left back slightly baffles me. Bradford might even be in League Two. I'm not even sure. No, League One. Sorry, Bradford fans. And finally, tonight we take on Southampton in the FA Cup third round replay. What a delight. And Claude Puel basically said that there's going to be squad rotation for them. Although I've been speaking to some Southampton fans, go and check out the opposition preview I've done with Freddie from The Ugly Inside. He was saying that cup runs are now the priority for Southampton because they're kind of in this dead-end situation in the Premier League where they're not going to get top six, and they're not going to get relegated, so they kind of want these cup runs. They're doing very well in the EFL Cup. They're 1-0 up against Liverpool in the first round, first leg, so they could get to the final, and they want a cup run in the FA Cup, although they've got injuries. Sofiane Boufal, Charlie Austin, Matt Targett, Alex McCarthy, Jeremy Payet are all out injured, so there's going to be squad rotation for them. This is a decent opportunity for Norwich City to maybe progress through. It would be fantastic for confidence. And it's a great opportunity as well for the youngsters. We're looking at probably a midfield pairing of Ray Grant and Ben Godfrey tonight because Tete won't play because of suspension or nearing suspension. Howson's out, Dorrans is out, Malimbu's at the African Cup of Nations, Louis Thompson's injured, McGrandles is injured, so you're looking at Ray Grant and Ben Godfrey. A great opportunity for them guys to go out and prove what they're worth because the Norwich City first team certainly aren't making flames at the moment, so they must be thinking in the back of their heads, hang on a minute lads, like we've got a chance of maybe progressing through here into the first team. So let's put on a show tonight and let's try and get in there. We're looking at an up front of Kyle Lafferty. We're looking at a defence made up of I don't even know who. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. So to all the fans heading down to Southampton tonight, fair play to you all. And hopefully you guys can bring back the progression to the next round and Arsenal at home in the next leg. Anyway, massive thank you to you guys for watching. Go and check out the Acle Bridge. Go down there for a meal, or if not, just a cheeky pint or something. I'm about to tuck into the rest of this. Thanks very much for watching, and peace out.
Once upon a time, a fairy tale